All the way from there to 40 plus years later, rose up to become executive director in the company, employing 50,000 plus people, generating, I think you said $5+ billion back then.
Unfortunately, in 77, due to one of my own foolishness, I had a massive accident. You can say luckily or unluckily, there was no orthopedic problem for me. It was actually an internal nerve injury.
What was the actual accident? What happened?
So we were actually getting a bit late for the movie. So there was one thela with oxygen cylinders on top. He had parked it right in the middle of the road. And when I realized, I was already at about 60 or 70 on the motorcycle. When I fell down, the silencer came on, exhaust came on my leg. I guess that would have caused the nerves to crack down. After 10 months, it surfaced out that sickness was it was called radiculitis. And at that point of time, I don't know today, at that point of time, there was no cure for that disease. Finally, when I went to Chennai to consult one leading specialist in neuro, he said very clearly saying that you will not be able to come out of this.
Okay.
So the best way for you is to adjust yourself to the whole thing. And he wrote even, he went to the extent of giving me a medical certificate. I just told him saying that, please tear it up and give me a fitness certificate. And I was in sheer pain, but thanks to my wife, please don't tell her this, because she'd asked me for a few more saris on this. She used to keep a very close watch on me without telling me. And we followed right through a principle saying that we will never discuss this sickness in my house. And with this pain also, I used to go to the office in the morning at 8 and come back only by 9:30, 10 at night. So basically, I diverted my mind totally from this pain.
Who is Gopal truly in your eyes?
I'm a happy man, no problems. Son is doing well now, and he dotes on me without telling me, like mother, like son. They both don't sympathize with me. I know for certain that he gives me a ring 3 times a day and keeps talking to me something, and I know the purpose is to find out whether I'm okay or not, nothing else.
He lost his complete sensation in the nerves back then, and even today. In this video, I'm in conversation with Mr. S. Gopalakrishnan, who is the former executive director of BHEL. And I became very curious to learn his journey. Back at 27 years, he had a massive accident where AIIMS doctors told him that his legs would have to be amputated, and he was bedridden for 10 months. From that incident, 40 plus years hence, he not only walks 6 to 7 kilometers daily, but he rose up to become the executive director of BHEL, advisor to the chairman, and many such wonderful achievements. Most importantly, I was very curious to hear his perspective on how he has progressed his career and work for professionals like yourself, and also how he has integrated mind and health in this journey, where he has successfully and beautifully progressed. I hope you find value in this conversation, and this is Nitin Dua, serving you with love. Today, I have a great fortune and honor to be with Mr. S. Gopalakrishnan. Some of you have heard his story through the lens of his wife, Shri Prabha, who came on our podcast, and she mentioned this incident where her life completely flipped from that moment. That moment, which had a massive accident of his then fiancé. And this gentleman is the same gentleman that I'm going to bring today. Not only he defied what AIIMS doctor said then, that his legs have to be amputated and he would not be able to walk again. And to this day, he not only walks 6 to 7 kilometers every day, he sings. He rose up from the then trainee in BHEL all the way up to becoming the executive director at BHEL, which generates billions of dollars, employs 50,000 plus people. It was a massive inspiration to me to listen to his story. And we had a lot of audience reach out to us who wanted to hear from him. And I've been very curious myself. It's my honor that he agreed to give us some time and share directly his perspective through his words. With that, and further ado, I'm going to welcome Shri S. Gopalakrishnan. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here and being available to share your perspective with us and our audience.
Thank you, Nitin, for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences, which has been a bit tough right from beginning. And I thank all your team also for giving me this good opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any specific questions you have, please ask. You can shoot it out. I'll answer it to the best of my knowledge.
How do I refer you? Do I...
Gopalakrishnan, right from the beginning, I have also been complaining to my father, saying that it's a very long word to write in all my sessionals in mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
So cut it short and make it Gopal.
Okay. So I'll keep it Gopal. Huh?
Yeah.
So let me start here, Gopal. And just for the audience, I was giving you a context, right? So you rose up from the trainee at 27 when you had this episode that we spoke about in the last, and we'll hear from you. But then all the way from there to 40 plus years later, and maybe 40, 50 years later, rose up to become executive director in the company, employing 50,000 plus people, generating, I think you said $5+ billion back then. And it's one of the most regarded companies in India. I think you mentioned this term Maharatna.
Yeah.
Is where you were up until very recently. So with that, I just want to give people this perspective of where you were and where you are today. And you've had a very successful and a very fulfilling career in the process. Not being able to walk or being told not being able to walk to doing this every single day with full enthusiasm, singing through life. I would want to hear from you directly.
See, I joined BHEL in 75. Unfortunately, and I joined there as a trainee. Unfortunately, in 77, due to one of my own foolishness, I had a massive accident where I hit against, I joined in Bhopal, by the way.
Okay.
Night we were all, two of my friends were going for a movie. And that's why the accident happened, because I was in a hurry to go and watch the movie. Accident happened. But you can say luckily or unluckily, there was no orthopedic problem for me.
Okay.
Despite the accident. It was actually an internal nerve injury which surfaced out only after about 6 months. Because the very next day of the accident, while the friend who was coming with me as a pillion rider, I took him to the hospital and got him plastered. But nothing happened to me. So next morning I was back in the shops.
So can you tell us, what, if you don't mind, what was the actual accident? What happened? What were you doing at that time?
So we were actually getting a bit late for the movie.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
And there was a hand cut. Bhopal didn't have such lighted streets at that time.
Okay.
So there was one thela with oxygen cylinders on top.
Okay.
He had parked it right in the middle of the road and gone for a cup of tea. And when I realized, I was already at about 60 or 70 on the motorcycle. And I was just about 1 or 2 feet away from this. So I had no option but to
slam the brakes
of the vehicle. The friend who was sitting as a pillion rider, he was sucked out and he fell in front. And when I fell down, the silencer exhaust came on my leg. And I tried to pull it out.
Okay.
I guess that would have caused the nerves to crack down. And either it got compressed or it got dried up. I don't know what happened. After 10 months, it surfaced out. And I was admitted to the hospital, then brought to Delhi. By that time, my leg had already shrunk. My left leg had already shrunk.
Okay.
And I was practically immobile and I was in bed for 10 months in Delhi. I consulted nearly about 10 to 11 surgeons, neurospecialists in Delhi. Other than giving me painkillers, they had no answer for it. And that included your All India Institute also.
Okay.
In fact, one of the doctors suggested that I get it amputated because that sickness was called radiculitis. And at that point of time, I don't know today, at that point of time, there was no cure for that disease.
Our team requested to share this with you. Our data suggests that many of you who have been watching our videos have still not subscribed. Some of you have reached out to me to know when the next video comes out. May I request you to please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notified when the next video goes out. By subscribing, you also become part of our mission empowering professionals, helping progress in the careers, integrating health and mind and fulfillment. Please share this with someone who may find value in this.
Finally, when I went to Chennai to consult one leading specialist in neuro, he said very clearly saying that you will not be able to come out of this.
Okay.
So the best way for you is to adjust yourself to the whole thing. Learn the art of living with this problem.
Okay.
At best what you can do is I'll give you some painkillers. Whenever you have a serious pain, you take it. Keep moving on. That's the only way you can come out of it.
Okay.
So I decided to take that option. And he wrote even, he went to the extent of giving me a medical certificate with 6 months bed rest. I just told him saying that please tear it up and give me a fitness certificate.
That's amazing.
And came back. I confided my boss everything, and he supported me. And I was in sheer pain, but thanks to my wife, please don't tell her this, because she'd asked me for a few more saris on this.
We know the sari stories from last time, but we'll hear your side too.
Yeah. So, and my son was at that time very small, but she stood by me like a rock. And she was, you heard the word Hunterwaali?
Hunterwaali.
Yeah.
I've heard the word, but it'll be good to get the interpretation from you.
Yeah, interpretation was the one who was always with the hunter in her hands.
Okay.
If I say pain, she will say walk. And she had this beautiful treatment, and which made me really, and she supported me. It's not that she was only used to drive me, but she used to keep a very close watch on me without telling me. And we followed right through a principle saying that we will never discuss the sickness in my house. As far as possible, avoid the sickness. If you have pain, lie down for some time, then get back into this. And the same situation, this methodology she adopted for my temperature also. When I used to get a temperature of even up to 102, she used to say that you go to office. Because the minute you are at home, you will brood over it. You will only continue to brood over it and go on thinking, psychologically getting affected about it. Don't do that.
Yeah, there is a big play of psychological shift, which is absolutely required.
Basically, right, she played on my psychology and she said, no, you go. So then on, I decided saying that yes. My father said, saying that you sell off this motorcycle is meaningless, you start driving the car. And she said, no. He will have to go into drive the same motorcycle and I will be with him. So that's how it started. I moved on to the office, started concentrating more on the office. And with this pain also, I used to go to the office in the morning at 8 and come back only by 9:30, 10 at night. So basically, I diverted my mind totally from this pain to my official this. That helped me moving forward also. Of course, my office colleagues were there. 1 or 2 colleagues who knew the story were with me all the time. They used to help me out in everything. That's how life moves.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. I mean, first of all, thank you for agreeing to share it with us. I know you don't talk about this at home, but in this home, you have decided to share.
Yeah.
And you've decided to empower others. So that's a big blessing and very grateful to you for doing that. And I must say, like the incredible support that you mentioned through your wife, we heard her side, but you talking about it. Also, I would say your ex-boss, as you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Confided him and shared everything. And I would feel like it's a rare thing that people become that kind and can understand and can actually help you support all the way through. So that's incredible. And of course, without a doubt, your own resilience and so much that would have taken you to get here. And that's what we want to dive into. But before we do that, you mentioned your name. There's one question that I'll have to ask. Who is Gopal today in your own eyes?
Let me be very frank with you. When I was in service, in fact, with this leg of mine, I retired at the age of 60 from BHEL. I was given at the level of executive director. I was requested by my chairman to stay on for another 5 years after that as advisor to him. Following that, I was taken by the Telangana government for 2 years to be an advisor to the chairman of Telangana Power Board. So that was it had already come to about 2019 by then. 20, the COVID struck, then I decided to now call it a day. But till such time I was in office, I never had the time for anything, for any carrying out or to pursue any of my ambitions, which was music.
Okay.
But then I did one wise thing, was to shift to. Had a very good family here, a wonderful family. I got onto this music. So now I don't have time to think about anything else. I'm just thinking about music and enjoying myself.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's beautiful to know. Anything else that comes to mind, particularly for Gopal? Like, you spoke about work and all this, but who is Gopal truly in your eyes?
I'm a happy man, no problems. Son is doing well now, and he dotes on me without telling me, like mother, like son. They both don't sympathize with me, but at the same time keep a very, very strict watch on me.
Sure. Lovely.
I know for certain that he gives me a ring 3 times a day and keeps talking to me something, and I know the purpose is to find out whether I'm okay or not, nothing else.
Yeah. And for people who don't know, like, I mean, if I'm okay to share, he lost his complete sensation in the nerves back then, and even today, it's gotten back to 50%. It's improved. You can walk, but it's not fully 100% there yet. And I think you're restricted to eat only a few certain items. You can consume. You cannot consume
correct.
all the items, but you have not let that come in the way of how you operate and how you choose to act.
I can take 4 or 5 vegetables.
Yeah.